You're finally awake.
What in oblivion is that?
Sentries, what do you see?
It's in the clouds!
How do I get here? What a strange dream. By the 9, it wasn't a dream. Hello, ladies, gentlemen, everything in between and neither. Today I want to talk about, yes, you've probably guessed it already. I want to talk about Skyrim since it's the 10-year anniversary, and I want to talk about what this game means to me. So grab your stamina potions and buckle up for a probably really long video. But before we get into it, feel free to follow me on my social media on Instagram and Twitter at CommanderNici, just like my channel name. And now, let's get into the video. Skyrim is probably, along with the Mass Effect trilogy and Andromeda by now, Fallout 4 and GTA 5. Along with those, Skyrim is probably one of my most played and replayed games. So, yes, I do like it a lot. And there's several reasons for it. The music, the community with all the memes, the landscape, especially the landscape, the gameplay, the way I can, well, in more or less have my very own story. I mean, it's not choice-based or anything, but it still feels a lot like it's just my personal playthrough that nobody else has. And that's amazing. I really like this game. The fact that there's several YouTube videos pointing out small details in Skyrim that you have missed, and it's an immense amount of videos, even that many years after the initial release. And honestly, that's amazing that there are so many small details, and it really shows the love and attention that has been poured into the game. And now for a fact that I'm not pretty sure if it's true or an urban myth. I can't be bothered to look that up. I'm sorry, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But somewhere in some university, Skyrim has actually been used to talk about like Norse culture and like architecture, and like that's pretty cool, like insanely cool fact if that's true. And there's so much about Skyrim to love. And I want to be honest, I don't really remember when I first played Skyrim, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't on launch. I think I might have bought it used at GameStop for like 30 or 40 bucks. So that was a fine price, and that was the first time I got it. Then the special edition came out, you know, for PS3 with all the DLC. So I got myself that, and I was really happy with that. The DLCs were super great. And then I got my PS4, and after a while I saw the Legendary Edition being out, and with all the graphical enhancements and also the DLCs at hand, I got that version too. And when I got the Switch, I also got the Switch version. Yes, I'm also going to purchase the anniversary update when it comes out. Yes, I'm one of those people. Yes, it is partly my fault that Skyrim gets re-released on every single possible console and platform ever. Next thing you know, you're going to play it on your fridge. Oh wait, I think people can do that. So, yeah. And that takes us somewhere that I think is really important when it comes to Skyrim. The memes. Starting with the meme that it just gets re-released for all of eternity, probably. The jokes, the bugs, the glitches, and those are things that probably aren't even intended by the developers that make the game so memorable and fun. All the jokes, it just works. And I first started the game, and I'm not sure, I think the first race I've ever played must have been a Khajiit, because I think it was at the very tail end of my, let's call it, furry phase. It wasn't like anything weird. I was just drawing characters, and I wasn't really like into the fan base. I just had an anthropomorphic original character, that's it. But being able to play as a Khajiit was definitely really a real fun idea. And yeah, what I also could have played the first time I put my hands on Skyrim maybe was an orc, because I probably thought they looked really cool with their brutish physique and everything, like definitely cool. And the first playstyle, probably because I rarely diverge from that, probably was heavy armor and dual wielding, full frontal into the battle, just like I always do. And then my journey through Skyrim began. And just alone how the game starts, when you're playing it for the first time, not knowing what you're getting into. You wake up on that wagon with the by now almost memed to death, "Hey, you're finally awake." And get to the character creation, and as you're done with it, you're led up to the shopping block. Surely your character can't die there, right? You just started the game, and that's when Alduin comes and all hell breaks loose and Helgen. And then you make your way through the keep and learn the ropes of early combat, magic, swords, equipment, all those things. You exit the cave, and that's when you see the game world for the first time. And it's amazing and breathtaking. And you walk into the first village, Riverwood, and for me it almost felt like home. The only place in Skyrim that feels more like home is actually Falkreath, but it's just really pretty. I like the forest, and like looking out the window right there, I can see into the woods, and the leaves have this beautiful golden color like it should be in November. It's really pretty, and you get a similar vibe in Skyrim too, in the right places, and that's what I really enjoy. And there's all those bigger and smaller details in the game, and things that are just small details in the landscape alone, and it's really pretty, and I really just like walking around in this game world and explore it. And then there's also all the quests and the story, and I mean, by now, as of the video's release, the game is 10 years old, and if you ask me, it still holds up, and that sometimes is a really hard thing to do. Like, for example, and I love it, no offense, but take the Mass Effect games. The first Mass Effect game compared to the other two feels super clunky and dated, and that only came out in 2007, so 4 years prior to Skyrim. And not that like those 4 years would have been a massive difference. BioShock came out in 2007 too and still holds up. And I think that's really cool about Skyrim, that it can still hold itself up. Like, a game doesn't get sold over and over again and re-released over and over again for nothing. Like, there's a reason why this game is still selling. And some people might be getting annoyed at the fact that it keeps getting re-released and new ports, and they are not wrong by being annoyed at it, but never change a running system, I guess. And obviously there is probably better RPGs than Skyrim, but on the other hand, Skyrim is also pretty accessible for newbies into the genre, and I think that's what really tied me to it. Like, when I first played Skyrim, I really was a newbie to RPGs, and I think that's the thing. Skyrim is pretty accessible. You can put it on super easy, like most games you can do, and that's just cool. And I think there aren't many side quests in Skyrim that are locked behind main story progression. Maybe the Dragonborn DLC, but that would only make sense to be locked behind that progression. But just right after you leave the cave at the beginning of the game, you can do whatever you want. Who needs to be a Dragonborn if you can be the leader of several guilds? Even guilds that probably contradict each other if you look too closely into it. But who cares? Skyrim is what you make of it, and the possibilities are nearly endless. The playstyles you can tackle. You can be a necromancer, a paladin, a total melee beast. Stealth? Of course you can do that. Archers, everything, all the possibilities, and then you can combine stuff, like be a jack of all trades, do whatever you want, build every single house in all the 3 holes you can build houses in to your wishes. It's great, and I really can't wait for the anniversary edition to get more new content. And obviously an Elder Scrolls 6 would be more welcome, but I take what I can get, and if it's a new Skyrim update, basically another re-release, of course I'm gonna do that. And also, can we just talk about all the mods? And like, I'm not talking about the kinda questionable, kinda gross mods that make your or certain followers look a little more bigger on the chest area. Like, I'm not talking about those mods. I mean, whatever floats your boat, do what you want. If you want those mods, What I'm talking about are the hilarious mods. Alduin as Thomas the Tank Engine. Choo choo! Eat my steam, motherfucker, hell yes! And unfortunately, I never really got to get my hands on mods since the availability of mods on the PlayStation version isn't as big as the PC version, and I've never had a PC that I trusted to run Skyrim with mods. And there's also not only the hilarious mods out there, but also the pretty ones that make Skyrim look super photorealistic, and those are pretty cool if you ask me. Like, holy hell, Bethesda, what are you doing? Hire those people. And yeah, I once tried myself at Oblivion and it felt kinda dated, and I really had my problems with it. I'm a little bit sad that I couldn't really get into it, because from what I've heard, Oblivion is a huge fan favorite, but if it were to be remastered to have a more to this time fitting control scheme and look and everything, I would enjoy that. I would play that. Hell yeah, please give it to me. And yeah, Skyrim is really great, and I really enjoy it a lot. There's some, it's almost some kind of comfort game to me because of the familiarity with the environment, like, and even the story. I mean, maybe it's mediocre at best, like, oh, big bad evil dragon, end of the world, you gotta save it. Like, yes, that story has been told like a million times. Like, yes, end of the world, save the world. We know. It happens like every third story. It happens in Zelda, it happens in Mass Effect, it happens in Skyrim, it happens in, well, probably if you really count like the kind of people the Resistance fights in Star Wars. Like, yes, that's also saving the world, and it's not like the story is incredibly unique. You have that stuff, but it still has its charm. And also side quests, how many there are, it's great. Like my favorite side quest is definitely the Ethereum Wars. It's really big and also probably pretty missable if you don't go up to every bookshelf, and that's cool. Also the Dragonborn DLC is extremely fun. I love the Daedric realm of Phameros Mora. Also, like every other Daedric quest, Sheogorath, A Night to Remember, hell yes, those are so much fun and I love them a lot. And yes, Skyrim is great, even to this day, and there's a reason why I bought it so many times, to have it wherever I go, quite literally now that I have a Switch. So yeah, that's it. Leave a comment down below. What do you enjoy about Skyrim? Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, if you like Skyrim just as much as I do. Feel free to follow me on my social media on Instagram and Twitter at CommanderNici, just like my channel name. And subscribe if you haven't already. And until I figure out what I can upload next, watch my other stuff. Bye.